Welcome back, guys, to a brand new video. Now today, as you will be able to tell by the title, ARK Valguero Ascended is launching today for ARK Survival Ascended, and today we have a news update from the devs on what time you can expect the official launch for this map. And I'm really excited to see everyone in game having fun, and of course all of the new creatures. Now, if you guys do enjoy today's video, as always, drop a like and subscribe if you're new around here, as it really supports me. And if you're looking for a place to come and play Valguero Ascended on launch day, we have 100 slots for PvE and PvP. The link to the Discord is down below. You guys know how it works. If you want to come and join us for some fun, then obviously feel free to do so. Links are down below. And if you are looking to grab yourself a Nitrado server today in preparation for the launch of Valguero Ascended, the link will always be in the description down below, and I'll have more details closer to the time on anything else coming up. Thank you. So let's kickstart by looking at what the devs have said about the launch time of the DLC. Also, by the way, I absolutely love this photo. I think this has to be my favorite one. I know we had artwork of the other creatures, but the absolute detail of the returning Deinonychus is so exciting, because it's just something that in the old game, you guys know I've checked out some of the old versions of this from ASE, and you can tell how outdated it looks, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the detail to the new version of this. But anyway, it is time. So Dolly has posted out saying, survivors, just a quick heads up that we're aiming for a later in the day launch for Valguero Ascended tomorrow evening PST. Now don't worry, this is still the 7th. We wanted to let you know ahead of time so you don't spend the day waiting around, and we'll keep you updated here. Thanks folks, see you in Valguero soon. So obviously, this is what they normally do with all the launches. If you've been around for a long time in the ARK community, you will know that when Studio Wildcard do a launch, the same thing happens. They always seem to do it. They used to do it a lot earlier back in the day, which is I know for people in the UK or something like that, it's a little bit more frustrating for you, because this does mean it's most likely a 2, 3 a.m., potentially 4 a.m. launch, and then if anything goes wrong, it could go further on than that. But we will see what happens, and I'm very excited to see an update, and I will keep you guys updated all throughout the day on what Studio Wildcard say on the launch. Now, without further ado, let's get into the dossiers, and we are going to start with the returning Deinonychus, because this creature is very exciting, and it's also known, if you didn't play back in the day, it's also known as the Cliff Chicken. This is because it hangs around in the White Cliffs, in Chalk Hills, and you guys, if you've never played there before, it's a very beautiful part of the map, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's read through the dossier now. So by the time you hear the scurrying claws of the Deinonychus, it's often too late. Superior hunters, they leap from a hiding place and pounce on their prey. The Deinonychus is an agile climber as well, jumping from wall edge to wall edge as it seeks high vantage points to lie in wait. A hungry Deinonychus tends to be fearless and will hunt prey much larger than itself, latching onto a dinosaur's back with its sickle-shaped claws, then starting to feed before its victim is even dead. While it likes its meat fresh, a Deinonychus isn't scavenging a carcass if no other food isn't above scavenging a carcass if no other food is available. So even though it likes to have fresh meat, it will just scavenge around the map if it needs to keep itself fed. So domesticated, raising a Deinonychus in captivity requires an ample food supply, as they have a fast metabolism to match their high activity level, and the Deinonychus is also fiercely territorial, near nests with eggs, and even if the eggs aren't its own, this makes breeding successive generations a hazardous process. Unless raised from eggs, they cannot be tamed. The hunter instinct of a wild Deinonychus is too strong, or so strong, that it reflectively pounces on what would be master. So yeah, it's you know, raised from eggs. This thing just will refuse to be tamed. It's too angry. It's too strong. And it's very, you know, it's very wild. Let's call it that. So get ready, guys, because this thing won't be friendly. But when you do manage to get yourself a raised Deinonychus, it will be a very, very trusty tame in taking down those big carnivores. Now, next up, the Elderclaw. Now, this is going to be a very exciting new creature in the game. It's been a while since we've read through its dossier, so let's do so now. So in the wild, this time it feels like I'm trying to describe a supernatural entity. Instead of the usual living fossil, crossing paths with Ostosylvanimus, commonly called Elderclaw, which is much easier to say, is like communing with a forest soul. As much flora as fauna, the Ursine avatar seems attuned to local plant life. Although Elderclaw rarely attacks unprovoked, it won't shy away from a fight. It instinctively controls nearby vegetation to wrap itself in a thick tangle of protective vines while sending out roots to entangle any aggressor, assuming it doesn't just knock them into a stupor with its massive paws. Everyone's calling it the what's the name everyone's calling it? The flower bear. Loads of people are calling it at the moment. A nettled Elderclaw will conjure up a spirit echo to help ward off threats. This ethereal I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Ethereal Talesman will then emanate vibrations that weaken threats while invigorating those in its protection. A spirit echo collects the energies of nearby violence and imbues its Elderclaw master with enough fury and power to trigger explosive growth. While spirit echoes generally stay immaterial, they also can become tangible long enough to explode. The resulting cloud of charged spores will affect friend and foe differently, burning aggressives but closing wounds on allies. So, domesticated. While I've yet to see a tame adult Elderclaw, their cubs or shrubs seem much more impressionable. Sadly, this has led to survivors to hunt and kill these lumbering giants for their seeds. Propagating your own is a long, difficult process, but once a sproutling has grown enough to leave its garden, you'll gain a protective forest warden that can use its roots to subsequently harvest nearby trees. This Elderclaw sounds like it's basically, you know, it's gonna be growing like a plant, and once it's grown, then it can leave the garden and actually join you as a tame. How crazy is that? And now for the mighty, scary Megaraptor. Thank you also to everyone that confirmed that the Megaraptor isn't actually a species of raptor. I did actually think that, and a lot of you guys let me know that that is the truth. So it's very interesting that it's called the Megaraptor, but thank you for explaining that information. But in the wild, trust me, you don't want one of these creepy killers hunting you. The Megaraptor picks off its victims one at a time, like the villain in an old school slasher flick. And once you've been targeted, your stalker will scare away your friends and allies with its unnerving glare. As we've seen, it's got its green scary eyes. You won't want this monster coming until it's right on top of you. That's when the Megaraptor pounces, pinning you down and scattering everyone nearby to leave you defensiveless. Talk about a jump scare. The final indignity is that your death will give this beast the strength to shrug off any attempt to avenge you. Okay, this sounds wild, literally. Domesticated. Before you can tame a Megaraptor, you have to earn its respect. Find and claim its grisly altar of carcasses, then keep the enraged owner at bay with fire. Just make sure you stay on a consistent swivel, because this fiend will fight like hell for its trophies. Manage to break one of these butchers, and you'll share all the meat from its many kills. You'll also gain an assassin eager to murder your enemies, but know that your Megaraptor hunts alone, uncomfortable around even its own kind. This army of one will lose its fighting edge around others. This thing just sounds like an absolute beast, doesn't it? Like, just crazy. Like, why does this sound like it's going to be able to fight Gigas and Carcharodontosaurus? Like, it just sounds insane. And I know it's probably not going to be on their level, But this has got to be up there as literally one of the most apex predators in the entire game by the sounds of things. Of course, it seems to have its weak edge where it's like it gets uncomfortable around even its own kind. So if you do bring an army around it, it won't really do much by the sounds of things. But if you literally bring it in on its own, like, I don't know how, maybe, I'm guessing the best way to do this is by bringing one army of dinos with you in one section and leaving them behind and sending your Megaraptor first. That might mean that you might lose your Megaraptor, but it might be able to do a crazy amount of damage and go absolutely crazy on rage, and then you send in the rest of your army. I don't know what the sort of radius is of where it gets uncomfortable, but that thing sounds absolutely crazy. But anyway, guys, as I mentioned, a little recap later today. Later in the day, launch for Valguero Ascended in the evening PST. So again, if you are, evening PST, if you are in like the UK or anywhere like kind of in Europe, then, you know, you're probably expecting a 3 a.m. earliest launch. If I'm being honest, you know, best case scenario could be 1, 2 a.m. But, you know, normally it's around 3, 4, you know, even 5 a.m. So it's always a tough one. That's the only thing with Ascended launches that are a little bit different to Evolved. Evolved, the launches used to happen actually at a reasonable time. It wasn't always a reasonable time, but it was a little bit more reasonable. Now with Ascended, the way they work, yeah, it's always very, very early in the morning. So I will catch you guys later on with some more updates throughout the day. Thank you very much for watching. Come and join us in the LoadedCrysis cluster if you are waiting and ready for a brand new server to play on with 100 slots. And I'll catch you in my next video.